I'm Jason and this is Level Up Hobbies. Today I'm going to continue my contrast painting series where I take a model, paint it up to parade ready standards using contrast paints and highlights. Now today we're going to be painting up an Iron Hands Space Marine. So if you think the flesh is weak, then this is the chapter for you. Alright, let's get painting. Here we've got an Iron Hands Space Marine, and we've started out by priming him with Vallejo Black Surface Primer. And now I'm going to give him a zenithal highlight with Citadel's Wraithbone base. We've got our iron hands, so we are going to begin laying down some color for this guy. And to start, we're going to layer on some Black Templar contrast paint. I'm going to go through and paint, kind of base coat all of the leather pouches in his belt, and then also the casing of his plasma pistol in Corax white. Next for this guy, we're going to paint his belt and pouches with Wildwood contrast. I'm going to highlight those pouches in his belt with some Rakarth flesh.
Start highlighting up the black portions of the armor with Mechanicus Standard Gray. This is the Citadel Air version, which really just, it's just a little bit thinner. We're now going to add an additional highlight to the black, those armor panels. For that, I'm going to use Pallid Witch Flesh, and I'm using this because it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but this is it's a warmer white, so it's kind of an off-white, and it's not as cool as the other whites. And so what I'm trying to get is like a black armor, but like a smoky black, so like a dirty, so it's not bright white highlights. I might have a couple just at the very edges, but those are going to be fewer. So it'll just change that the tone, the temperature of that black that's on there. Okay, now we're going to add the final highlight for the armor, and for this it's just going to be White Scar. We're just going to do some little fine dot highlights on some of the corners and just higher areas of the model. Really, if you wanted to, you could skip this part altogether. It's not needed. But I think just having a couple kind of went a little too dark too thick right there for that last highlight, but it's okay. Okay, so I went through and I painted all of the exposed pieces of the bodysuit in Corax white, and now I'm going to paint them in Basilicanum gray. And the reason I did this, making the bodysuit a different color, is just so it stands out a little bit, and it's not there's just not so much black. I know most other Space Marines, you have like a black bodysuit, but when you have black armor, if you do a black bodysuit, you either have to highlight it a different color or make it a different color so it stands out. And by stand out, I don't mean boom in your face, hey, look at this. I just mean you want it to look a little bit different than the armor, or else it all just kind of bleeds together. Alright, I think that turned out pretty well. It's enough variation from the black armor that you can tell there's something different going on there. Alright, we'll let that dry. Alright, now we're going to start painting all of the silver bits all over this guy. So we're going to base them in Leadbelcher. This arm right here is exactly why I chose this model for the iron hands. They fit perfectly for it. We're going to take and wash all of the silver pieces in some Nuln oil, shade. I'm going to highlight up those silver pieces with Vallejo silver. Going to do the coils on the plasma pistol. For that, I'm going to use some Talisar blue. Going to start painting the face, and for that I am going to base it in Bugman's glue. Okay, we're now going to paint the flesh with Gilliam and Flesh contrast. And then over that Bugman's glow, it's going to make a really nice tanned flesh color. And you don't need too much of this. This goes on pretty strong. And just brush it on, and then clean off your brush and take out all the excess that you don't want it pulled.
I'm going to start highlighting up his face, and for that I'm going to be using 3 colors. Got the base of Bugman's Glow, and then Cadian Flesh Tone, and also Pallid Witch Flesh. And what I'm going to be doing is mixing like a 50-50 mix of the Bugman's Glow and Cadian Flesh Tone, and applying that, and then a 50-50 mix of Cadian Flesh Tone, Pallid Witch Flesh, or actually I'm sorry, straight Cadian Flesh Tone, and then go do a 50-50 mix of Cadian Flesh Tone and Pallid Witch Flesh. And just go back and forth as I need it. And I warn you, I'm not good at doing faces. This is as much practice for me as it is demonstration for you, so enjoy. So what I'm going to do is just hit the raised areas first. And it's going to look weird. It's going to be very blotchy. But then once we start filling in, it really starts to even out. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of Griff Charger Gray, thin down, and I'm just going to kind of wash that across parts of the skin, like across the head and facial features where it can start to build up some stubble. This may take a couple coats just to kind of build up to a consistency that I'm happy with. Okay, last bit we're going to do is paint the lenses on his helmet here. And for that we're going to use Flesh Tear's Red. Also going to get his purity seal here. Okay, on the helmet, what I did is I just dropped a little line of white, some Corax white in there. And so this red should pop pretty nice on top of that. looks pretty good. Hope you can really see it. Alright, so next I think we're going to do some decals. So we've got the completed Iron Hands Salt Intercessor here, and I like it. You know, one thing about it is the Black Templar lays down very nice on the base coat. There are some areas like back here on the back of this leg here where it was a little thinner, and on part of the helmet, I think this side of the helmet here, but overall it laid down really nice, and it had some decent highlights on it. So if you were a player and wanted some black anything, you know, armor or whatever, you could paint that Black Templar on it, and as long as you're not wanting to go above like a tabletop standard, like you're fine. But you know, bringing up these highlights, it does really set it off. And I mean, Iron Hands, if you're wanting to paint an army, if you're just starting off and like not confident in your painting, I would say paint Iron Hands, because I mean it's very simple. 3 colors and you're done. You got black armor, some silver bits on it, and some white if you want it. You know, a white gun casing, and then the sergeant has, you know, a white stripe. Other than that, I mean, it's, you know, it's pretty much one color, and black is a pretty forgiving color. You just have to watch out with the highlights, because I don't know, I see it more with the black than other colors, but if you put highlights on the black wrong, I think your eye just sees it more prominently, and so you can see it as not looking right. Or maybe that's just what I'm thinking. But yeah, I think this turned out great. Face, you know, it turned out decent. To tell you the truth, I don't hardly ever paint faces. You know, I prefer the helmeted Space Marine heads in general. But I did this face and 2 other faces for my Dark Angels army, and you know, it's actually a nice experience. You know, I would suggest, just like I did, practice, get one model and do it. This turned out pretty good. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm gonna go ahead, and I've already sprayed him with some matte varnish, so that was nice. It took down all the gloss on the shoulder pads from the decals. And then now I'm just gonna put a couple grass tufts so he matches the other contrast series that I've been painting, and we're gonna call this guy done. Okay, well, thanks again for joining me for this contrast painting session here. I'm Jason, this is Level Up Hobbies, and go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and go ahead and smash that notification icon, the bell icon down below, so you can be notified whenever I publish new videos. Thanks again. Keep building, painting, and playing. All right, later.